At holiday family dinner, my rich grandmother handed us each a check. My parents and sister laughed. It's just for show, a fake check again. I smiled, tucked mine away. The next morning, I went to the bank to cash it, and my grandma just said, "Good. Now I know who's real." My parents realized only mine was real. My name is Henry Walsh. I'm 27-year-old. I've always been the quiet one in my family. The kind who never quite fit in. Never flashy enough, never loud enough. My parents, Richard and Elaine Walsh, were obsessed with appearances, fancy dinners, luxury vacations, and bragging about my sister, Claire, who was the golden child. I was just Henry, the disappointment who chose writing over law school. They called me the dreamer with a smirk, the one who wouldn't survive a week without them. It had been years since I last spent holiday with my family because I wasn't exactly the golden child. That title belonged to my younger sister, Chloe, who had the perfect smile, the perfect fiancé, and the perfect approval from our parents. I, on the other hand, was the quiet one, the one who never made something of himself, the disappointment who didn't chase the big city dreams they wanted for me. Still, when Grandma Eleanor invited us to her mansion in Connecticut for holiday dinner, I couldn't say no. She was the only one who ever looked at me without judgment. That night, the dining room glowed with golden light, the table covered in roasted turkey, glazed ham, cranberry sauce, and silverware so polished you could see your reflection. Grandma, dressed in her usual pearls and a deep green velvet gown, looked fragile, but her eyes still carried that sharp spark that made people listen when she spoke. Halfway through dinner, after the laughter and small talk about Chloe's wedding plans, Grandma reached into her purse and pulled out 4 white envelopes. She smiled mysteriously, her voice soft but steady, a little gift for my family. She handed one to my father, one to my mother, one to Chloe, and finally one to me. The moment my parents saw the checks, they burst out laughing. Dad wiped his eyes and said between chuckles, "Oh Mom, another one of your fake checks again? You do love your little jokes." Mom joined in, adding, "Remember last year's? We framed it as a decoration." Even Chloe giggled, flipping hers over like it was a toy. I didn't laugh. Something about Grandma's expression made me pause. Her smile didn't quite reach her eyes, and she was watching all of us, studying us. I simply said, "Thank you, Grandma," and slipped the envelope into my jacket pocket without opening it. The rest of the night was filled with laughter and teasing. My parents joked about what they'd do with their fake millions, and Grandma just smiled faintly. As we left, she gave me a soft hug and whispered, "Don't lose that check, Henry. You might need it one day." I didn't understand what she meant, but I nodded. The next morning, curiosity got the better of me. I decided to deposit the check at the bank before heading home. The teller's eyes widened when she saw it. She looked up at me and said carefully, "Mr. Walsh, I'll need to confirm this with the issuing bank." My heart skipped. After a few moments, she returned, her tone now formal. "Sir, the check has cleared. The funds are available immediately." I stared at her in shock. "Wait, what? It's real." She smiled. "Very real, sir. The amount is $500,000. My hands trembled as I left the bank. I didn't know what to think. Had Grandma made a mistake? Or was this intentional? I called her number immediately. She answered after 2 rings. "Grandma, the check," she interrupted softly, "cleared." "Yes," I whispered. "Good," she said calmly. "Now I know who's real." Before I could ask more, she hung up. Later that afternoon, chaos erupted in our family group chat. My father sent a message filled with disbelief. "Mom, what is this nonsense? The bank says our checks were void. What are you playing at?" Mom followed with angry texts about favoritism and unfair treatment. Chloe even called me, her voice dripping with bitterness. "What did you do, Henry? Did you trick her? You've always been her favorite, but this is ridiculous." I didn't respond. A week later, Grandma invited all of us back to her house. The tension in the air was thick enough to choke on. My parents walked in with forced smiles, Chloe with red eyes from crying. Grandma sat in her armchair by the fireplace, holding a folder. "I wanted to see something," she began quietly. "To see what mattered most to each of you." Dad scoffed. "And humiliating us was your way of showing love." Grandma sighed. "No, son. It was my way of seeing the truth." She looked directly at me. "Only one of you treated my gift with gratitude. Only one respected it enough not to laugh." Chloe groaned, "Oh please, Grandma, it was a joke. We didn't mean anything. Grandma's gaze hardened. A joke? You've all made a joke of everything sacred. Family, kindness, humility. I've watched it for years. But Henry, she turned to me, her eyes softening. You've stayed kind despite being treated like a shadow. She opened the folder and laid a set of documents on the table. My mother leaned forward, her eyes widening. What is that? My will, Grandma said calmly. I've made some changes. The room went dead silent. She looked at my father, her voice steady but cold. You've mocked me for years, called me senile behind my back. You and your wife have taught your children to chase status, not character. You've forgotten what it means to be real. Then she turned to me. So I'm leaving everything, the house, the stocks, the company shares, to Henry. My mother's face drained of color. You can't be serious, she whispered. Oh, I'm very serious, Grandma replied. I won't have my legacy destroyed by greed. Dad slammed his fist on the table. You'll regret this. Grandma only smiled faintly. No, son. You will. For weeks, my parents tried to contest the will. Lawyers called, threats were made, but Grandma had everything airtight. When she passed a few months later, I cried that day like I never had before. My parents and sister didn't attend her funeral. They said they couldn't face the humiliation. I inherited everything, but it didn't feel like victory. It felt like justice. Then one night, I found something in an old wooden box she'd left me. Inside was a letter, written in her careful cursive handwriting. Henry, I saw myself in you. Quiet, underestimated, and yet full of grace. I wanted to know if kindness could still exist in a family poisoned by vanity. You proved it could. Never doubt your worth, my dear boy. You were always the real one. Henry, money reveals people. It doesn't change them. It just shows who they've been all along. Use this gift wisely. Build, don't boast. Love, don't judge. And never, ever forget what they laughed at. That was your test, not mine. I sat there for a long time, tears blurring the words. My parents stopped speaking to me completely, but I didn't chase them. Grandma had given me more than money. She'd given me truth. I used part of the money to restore Grandma's mansion, keeping her favorite garden just as she left it. Sometimes I sit there, reading her letters, watching the sunset, and thinking about how one simple act of respect changed my entire life. And every holiday since then, I've written my own checks, sealed them in white envelopes, and given them to people who never expect anything from me. Because sometimes, what looks fake at first, is the only real thing left. Respect and gratitude reveal your true character, even when others laugh or doubt you. Stay real, and life will reward the genuine heart. Please like, share and subscribe for more stories. Thank you.